thou cruel man, come hither, I say, to visit her whom with some signe of humanity thou mayest stay, or leastwise mollifie and appease the vengeance which she prepareth for thee. And if ever sparke of pitty did warme thy frozen heart, arme thyself with greater cruelty than ever thou wast wont to do, and come hither to make her sobbe her last and extreme sighes, whom thou hast wretchedly deceived. For in doing otherwise, thou mayst peradventure too late bewaile my death, and thy beastly cruelty." And thinking to make a conclusion of her letter, the teares made her words to die in her mouth, and would not suffer her to write any more. Wherefore she closed and sealed the same, and then calling Ianique unto her, she said: "Hold, gentle Ianique, carry these letters unto him, and if thou canst so well play thy part as I have done mine, I hope we shall have shortly at our commandment him that is the occasion of this my painfull life, more grievous unto me than 1,000 deaths together." Ianique, having the letter, departed with diligence, and went to the house of the father-in-law of Didaco, where quietly she waited until she might speak with some of the house, which was within a while after, for one of the servants of Didaco, whom she knew right well, went about certain his master's business, and meeting Ianique was abashed: of whom she demanded if the Lord Didaco were within, and said that she would fain speak with him, but if it were possible she would talk with him secretly. Whereof Didaco advertised came forth to her in the street, to whom smilingly, having made to him a feigned reverence, she said: "Senior Didaco, I can neither write nor read, but I dare lay my life there is suit made unto you by these letters which Madame Violenta hath sent unto you. And indeed, to say the truth, there is great injury done unto you of your part, not in respect of your new marriage, for I never thought that Violenta was a wife meet for you, considering the difference of your estates, but because you will not vouchsafe to come unto her, seeming that you make no more account of her, and especially for that you provide no marriage for her in some other place. And assure yourself she is so far in love with you, that she is ready to die as she goeth, in such wise that making her complaint unto me this day weeping, she said unto me, Well, for so much then as I cannot have him to be my husband, I would to God he would maintain me for his friend, and certain times in the week to come and see me, especially in the night, lest he should be espied of the neighbours. And certainly if you would follow her mind herein, you should do very well, for the case standeth thus: you may make your avaunt that you be provided of so fair a wife, and with so beautiful a friend as any gentleman in Valentia." And then Ianique delivered him the letter, which he received and read, and having well considered the tenor of the same, he was incontinently surprised with a sudden passion: for hatred and pity, love and disdain, as within a cloud be contained hot and cold with many contrary winds, began to combat together, and to vex his heart with contrary minds. Then pausing upon answer, he said unto her: "Ianique, my dear friend, recommend me to the good grace and favour of thy mistress, and say unto her that for this time I will make her no answer, but tomorrow at 4 of the clock in the morning I will be at her house, and keep her company all the day and night, and then I will tell her what I have done sithens I departed last from her, trusting she shall have no cause to be offended with me." And then Ianique, taking her leave, returned toward Violenta, telling her what she had done. To whom Violenta answered: "Ianique, if thou hast made a good beginning to our plotted enterprise, I likewise for my part have not slept. For I have devised that we must provide for a strong rope, which we will fasten to the bedside, and when he shall be asleep, I will cast the other end of the rope to thee overthwart the bed, that thou mayst pluck the same with all thy might, and before thou beginnest to pull, I will with a knife cut his throat, wherefore thou must prepare 2 great knives, whatsoever they cost, but I pray thee let me alone with doing of the fact, that I may dispatch him of his life, which alone did make the first assault to the breach of mine honour." Ianique knew so well how to provide for all that was requisite for the execution of their enterprise, as there rested nothing but opportunity to sort their cruel purpose to effect. The knight Sir Didaco, at the hour appointed, told his new wife that he must go into the country to take order for the state of his land, and that he could not return till next day in the morning, which she by and by believed, and the better to cover his fact, he caused 2 horse to be made ready, and rode forth when the clock struck 4. And when he had ridden through a certain street, he said to his man, which was wont to serve his turn in love matters, "Carry my horse to such a manor in the country, and tarry there all this day, and to-morrow morning come seek me in such a place, when I am gone from the house of Violenta. In the meantime set my horse in some inn, for in any wise I will have no man know that I do lie there." Which done, the master and the servant went two several ways. The knight being come to the house of Violenta, he found Ianique tarrying for him with good devotion to use him according to his desert, and conveyed him to the chamber of Violenta, and then she returned about her business. The knight kissed Violenta, and bade her good morrow, asking her how she did. Whom Violenta answered, "Sir Didaco, you bid me good morrow in words, but indeed you go about to prepare me for a heavy and sorrowful life. I believe that your mind beareth witness of the state of my welfare, for you have brought me to such extremity that you see right well how nothing else but my voice declareth me to be a woman, and therewithal so feeble a creature, that I still crave and call for death or pity, although both of the one and of the other I am not heard at all. And yet think not, Didaco, that I am so far out my wits to believe that the cause of my writing the letter was for hope that you, remembering my bitter pains and your own heinous crime, I could ever move you to pity. For I am persuaded that you will never cease to exhaust and suck the blood, honour, and life of them that credit your trumperies and deceits, as now by experience I know myself, with such deadly sorrow that I still attend and look for the sorrowful end of my life." Didaco, seeing her thus afflicted, fearing that her choler would further inflame, began to cull her, and to take her now into his arms, telling her that his marriage with the daughter of Violenta was concluded more by force than his own will and mind, because they pretended to have a gift of all the land and goods he had in succession after his father was dead, which if they did obtain by law, he should be a beggar all the days of his life, and that the same was done to provide for the quiet state of them both. And notwithstanding he had married another wife, yet he purposed to love none but her, and meant in time to poison his wife, and to spend the rest of his life with her. And thus, seeming to remedy his former fault by surmised reports, chanting upon the chords of his pleasant tongue, he thought with court-like allurements to appease her, which had her wits too well sharpened to be twice taken in one trap. Howbeit, for fear of driving him away, and to lose the mean to accomplish that which she intended, she said unto him with forced smiling, "Sir Didaco, although you have so ill used me in time past, as I have no great cause to believe your present words, yet the love that I bear you is so rooted in my heart, as the fault must be very great which should remove the same. In consideration whereof, I will constrain myself to believe that your words be true, upon condition that you will swear and promise to lie with me here once or twice a week. For methinke that if I might at times enjoy your presence, I should remain in some part of your grace and favour, and live the best contented woman alive." Whereunto he willingly agreed, with a great number of other like protestations, prompt and ready in them, which mean deceit. But if the poor miserable woman had pierced the same in the depth of her heart, and had credited all that he spake, no doubt he would have changed his mind. Thus either parties spent the day in cold and dissembled flatteries, till dark night with its accustomed silence did deliver them the mean to exercise their cruel fact. So soon as supper was done, Didaco and Violenta walked up and down together, talking of certain common matters, till the knight, pressed with sleep, commanded his bed to be made ready. It needed not then to inquire with what diligence Violenta and Ianique obeyed his request, in whom only as they thought consisted the hap or mishap of their intent, to whom, because Violenta might shew herself more affectionate, went first to bed. And so soon as they were laid, Ianique drew the curtains, and took away Didaco's sword, and making as though she had a thing to do under the bed, she fastened the rope, and raked up the fire which was in the chimney, carrying a stool to the bedside, and laid upon the same two great kitchen knives, which done, she put out the candle, and feigning to go out of the chamber, she shut the door, and went in again. And then the poor unfortunate knight, thinking that he was alone in the chamber with Violenta, began to clip and kiss her, whereunto she made no refusal, but desirous to renew his old private toys, she prayed him of all love that he bare unto her, to keep truce for 2 or 3 hours, for that the night was long enough to satisfy his desires, affirming that it was impossible for her to wake, because 5 or 6 days before, by reason of her griefs, she had not slept at all, notwithstanding she said that after her first sleep, she would willingly obey him.